Hello, welcome into the India Cricket Show with me and Andrew McLean and Himanshu Parikh. And today we're going to be covering the week that was in Indian cricket and the week that's coming up. So, Himanshu, welcome back. Nice to be talking to you again.
Thank you very much, Andrew. It's been a very happening cricket week in India, and I hope it's going to be a great session because we got a lot of stuff to talk. I hope you are doing good, right?
Yeah, yeah, very much. Well, I think possibly where we can start is let's maybe just have a look back at the South African series. Not so much the limited overs cricket, but the Test matches. I mean, first of all, what was your opinion on this the wicket in at Newlands in Cape Town, and what did you make of the match referee giving it the unsatisfactory rating?
Definitely a difficult wicket to play on. Obviously, test match finishing in 1.5 days. But as a spectator, I won't complain because it was an even contest. Both teams were struggling. Obviously, see, I would have said that it was unsatisfactory if it was dangerous to play, where 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 players were injury prone, where you could not handle the ball, where you could not judge the bounce. Obviously, it was bit too paced. It was a fast wicket. It had a lot of bounce, but it was not dangerous to play, right? Uh, I don't know why they call it unsatisfactory because in test matches you are supposed to have those wickets. Even in India, we have seen having spin pitches where a test match got finished in 1.5 days against England in Indore. In subcontinent, you don't expect that often, but that happens with spinners. Obviously, there will be a lot of pitch talking in the upcoming India versus England series as well. But personally, I don't feel like that it should be a matter of debate because obviously, otherwise, Test cricket that goes for 5 days, not many people are interested in watching that. These days, if you want to save Test cricket, there's a very small amount of audience who actually wants to see those 5 day long Test matches because the attention span of people have actually reduced. When they're becoming T20 fan, just see for yourself if they will actually be wanting to watch that 5 day cricket match. So I think it was a pretty good wicket. I personally enjoyed it a lot where there were a lot of wickets because Aiden Markram scored a century on the same pitch. Virat Kohli stayed on the same pitch. So I don't think there has to be a reason of unsatisfactory pitch. It was just about the skill of a batter. That's my personal opinion. Obviously, a lot may people differ. How did you make of it?
Yeah, look, I kind of agree with you in some ways. I think that the short attention span of fans is definitely a factor now, and to watch a whole match on TV for 5 days, probably not everyone's going to do it. It's only freaks like you and me, you know. Um, but but so in that sense, it was actually a really good Test match, right? Lots of wickets, lots of
Hmm.
action. But I tell you who I do feel sorry for is the
It
fans.
is like a football match with a lot of goals.
Yeah, exactly. But the people I feel sorry for are the fans. Imagine if you had a ticket to day three or
Yeah.
day four of the match.
Hmm.
And this is a really important match for South African cricket. It's right in the middle of their holiday season, and so
Hmm.
even South Africa cricket loses out because they lose out on ticket sales. So
Anyway, they are more interested in SA20 anyway, so I don't think it matters much for them.
yeah, true, but you know what I'm saying, right? If I mean,
Yeah,
going to
definitely.
going to watch a day's, I've watched cricket at Newlands before. I watched it there in 2000, England against South Africa. I forget which day we went to. It might have been day one or might have been day two. No, day one, I think it was. And it was just a wonderful, wonderful viewing experience. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I can.
I understand.
But Yeah, I do like your analogy of a football match with a lot of goals. It was a cricket match with a lot of wickets and some runs. So, just reflecting back on the series from an Indian perspective, who do you think you know performed performed really well, or maybe exceeded your expectations?
Of course, India performed really well the way they won the test match. Obviously, credit to their bowlers only because in one of the innings, Siraj did good, and in the other, Bumrah came on top. Uh, just that to make of that entire test series because in first match they were pretty ordinary, and in the second match there was a lot of drama happening every minute of the game. So one of the team had to win because because it was such nature of the pitch. And fortunately India became on that side, because South Africa were batting first. Obviously they took some time to make off that pitch. India had little bit more time to plan things out because they were batting batting in the second innings. After that, Adam Markham tried really well, but Dean Elgar, I feel for that guy. He had such a glorious long career, but he got out on the very first day of a test match. Just imagine, after having such a good test career, in your last match you're out twice on the very first day of a test match. I'm sure that will pinch him a bit. But yeah, it was a great test match. Bumrah, Siraj, they were the very positives. Did not turn out to be a good tool for Ishan Kishan for so many reasons. Uh, but yeah, good return of Virat and Lohit in the series, and those big guys are back in T20s as well. So a lot of this series added a lot of spice, and obviously good ranking in India. Indian players got a good benefit in ICC rankings, which keeps getting updated every week these days. I don't know how they guys decided, uh, but yeah, good series from India's point of view. Only team to win any series at that tour. So yeah, great match.
Um, Yeah, I mean the one disappointment for me was sorry, I always forget how to say his name. Rashad
Yashasvi Jaiswal.
Jaiswal, yeah, Jaiswal. But he's still very early on in his
I think I think he was good in the second innings. He did his job well. If it was not for him who came out aggressively, I don't think India was going to chase that 77 runs, because you see when Jaiswal got out, we lost 2 wickets more. Shreyas Iyer and Virat Kohli.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, I mean he's a player with a huge amount of promise, Jaiswal, and anyway that probably leads on quite nicely to the India Afghanistan uh, T20 series, which is on at the moment in India. The first match was
Hmm.
played in Mohali, which India won. Um, I see Jaiswal missed that match with a groin injury, I think it was.
Yeah,
That was a bit disappointing. And Afghanistan doesn't have Rashid Khan either, so that's a huge blow. I mean, obviously India can easily replace Jaiswal, but not so easy for Afghanistan to replace Rashid Khan, right?
yeah, that's like playing with 8 players, because Afghanistan means Rashid Khan. Rashid Khan means Afghanistan at most of times in T20 cricket. Obviously, no disrespect to other players. They got Gurbaz, they got Zadran, they got Nabi to an extent. But Rashid Khan means something else. He brings 3 players when he comes into a team. An all-rounder, a proper T20 all-rounder, a kind of players who will walk in any T20 team anytime, and not having him on your historic tour to India is a major blow, obviously. And he loves playing in India. Indian fans love him a lot, and he himself would be disappointed to be not part of the team. But such is the nature of game. And there's World Cup ahead, so he cannot risk. Obviously, he will be very crucial in the tournament.
So this first match was played in Mohali, and I didn't actually see the match on TV. But from what I
Hmm.
read, it was absolutely freezing cold. What was it? Just a bad day, or was it a case of maybe they shouldn't have been playing cricket in Mohali at this time.
It was a case of bad scheduling. The temperature was -6 degrees, and they could not even they could not -6 degrees. No, sorry, I'm sorry, +6 degrees, but it is still very cold when you compare it with anywhere else. And players were just freezing. They could not even hold two balls. Rohit took a catch, and he immediately had to run to warm his hands because it was so cold. You could actually see the smoke coming out of players' mouth. It was a case of bad scheduling because this was the first ever T20 international matches in Mohali in January, and you don't play in the night time in that month in any part of North India because this is a very close place to Himalayas, and this is always going to be very cold, always going to be freezing cold, and people don't even walk out of their homes in
What?
the evening
So
in
Himanshu,
this month.
can I? I mean, I can't think of anywhere in the world where you would play cricket in 6 degrees. I mean, maybe I've probably played in England once or twice in the early in the season, but so what?
Hmm.
How did the match end? I mean, did they just forget that it's cold in Mohali? Just seems weird.
Man, a lot of weird things have been happening in India currently, in Indian cricket specifically. Sometimes we end up playing in 45 degrees in some South Indian city, a test match, which happens quite often, where you will see players sitting on chairs because it is too hot to play in, and they will be bathing themselves with the water bottles and all. And I don't know how this happened because see, even Mohali has not hosted a single T20 international before in Mohali in January because they know it is just unable to they are just unable to play. They just got lucky that they were able to see the ball because otherwise it would be too foggy that you cannot even see what is away 10 meters of you. If you remember, there in Dharamshala during a World Cup match between India versus New Zealand, there was a case where all sudden fog started landing on the stadium in the second innings, and match has had to be halted for like 10 to 15 minutes because of that. That is the usual case every match at night in Mohali during this season. I don't know if it was it was somehow a miscalculation from the management where they just gave them a T20 match, and obviously Mohali will not resist because they are not getting cricket matches to host, and obviously they will not say no to any opportunity. They used a special spray for continuous 2 days on the grass so they could avoid the excessive dew. They just wanted to host it anyway. Obviously it was important for their association's economy, and this was the last match in that specific ground to be hosted because now they've got a new stadium.
Ah,
So
okay.
somehow they ended up hosting it. Afghanistans are used to it because they are from that northern part of the world, but very difficult for Indian players who belong to South Indian part like Rohit Sharma and many other
Mm.
because they were freezing. They were wearing those jackets. Empires were wearing those gloves and jackets, and you'll feel like that this is some again. This was looking like a football match going on because generally we see in English Premier League with people wearing those jackets and warmers, the match referees and all, and the coaches. So yeah.
Okay, and just looking at the match itself, India won by 6 wickets, but it was 158 that Afghanistan made. Not a bad effort,
Hmm.
actually. Not a bad effort by Afghanistan. But
Yeah, their highest level against India. It was a good start.
mm, who impressed you from the Afghanistan batting perspective?
Um, somehow it was very surprising. Nabi started hitting them really well at one point. He just kept going after these because he's going old. Obviously, you expect some guy like Gurbaz Rahman to impress you. Jadlan did it well for a while, but obviously Omar Zai was going to be key. He has gotten an IPL contract now, and it seems that has given him a lot of confidence. He has started hitting good sixes, and he did that. But out of nowhere, Nabi just came and took on Indian bowlers. Afghanistan were 54 runs at one point. They were 57 for 3 at another point. But then Mohammad Nabi came and out of nowhere, he just started striking. And they were at one point looking that they could reach even 200, and which would have been a pretty good score. So obviously their batting impressed. Their bowlers could not do much, and they cannot do much in a T20 game in India because there's not a lot to do because there's a lot of dew, and they are a spin-heavy team which cannot even hold the ball if you are playing in winters in India in T20s because there's a lot of dew. So yeah, their batting impressed me a lot. They made their highest ever T20 score, and then obviously India are going to chase it anyways because pretty strong side. Rohit Sharma was unlucky, got out early, but then there was Shubman Gill. He did not do, he did not score much, but obviously the presence in team matters a lot. And then India had a lot of players to finish. Jitesh Sharma, he's the new guy. I feel for Sanju Samson who is not playing, and then Shivam Dubey did it comfortably. Obviously, our bench strength again won the match for us, but yeah, Afghanistan are also a good team, and we are expecting a good contest today in Indore. Hopefully, it will be a strong one.
Oh right, yeah. Sorry, that I'd forgotten about that. The next match, yeah.
How about you? Have you looked at Sanju Samson playing? How do you see him not getting chances? He scored a century in his last international outing in South Africa, but he was dropped for Mohali T20.
Um, well, I haven't seen Sanju Samson bat that much in international cricket, but I've certainly watched him bat a lot in the IPL, and he's a really good player. I mean, um, and yeah, he did brilliantly when he scored that 100 in South Africa. Does seem a little bit strange, but it just shows how much depth India's got. But I don't feel qualified enough to comment on the on
Hmm.
this. But in some ways it's a bit like Ravindra. What's his name? Rachin Ravindra in New Zealand. He can't even make the New Zealand side at the moment. He scored 300s in the World Cup.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely that makes a sense. But Sanju Samson made his debut in 2015 for India in one of the formats, either ODI or T20s. But he has not even played 50 international matches combined in all three formats, and there have been many wicket keepers who have surpassed him to find a place, and there have been few players who became wicket keepers when they were not. For instance, KL Rahul. So yeah, still in the innings when it comes to his place in Indian side. And he has a following. Wherever he goes, there will be chants of Sanju Sanju. No, I'm not talking about India. I'm talking about overseas, South Africa, Ireland, England, New Zealand. He has got a fan following. He seems like he's one of the biggest star after Rohit and Virat when it comes to Indian cricket. Obviously, MS Dhoni is one of the demigods, but yeah.
Okay, maybe let's move on. Obviously, we're looking forward to the second match today. That's what's that? That's starting at about 7 o'clock in Indian time, as you say in Indore, and then the next match is on Wednesday, and that's in Bangalore. So, but the Indian Test team's been named for the upcoming series against England. No surprises there. With it's packed with spin bowlers, but no Mohammad Shami's not in the side. So how serious is his injury?
His injury is serious because even in the World Cup he was playing with injections. he had to take those painkiller injections just to play on the field. And he is still into rehab. And the board just does not want to rush him because there's T20 World Cup coming up. So his injury is obviously a bit serious. But I don't think it was even needed at this point to pick him because they will be playing against England, and obviously they are going to be sharp rank turners. The BCCI has already instructed the curators to play sharp rank turners, and that's why they have three wicket keepers in the squad because they want just them to hold the ball behind the wickets well because Jadeja, Akshar, Ashwin are going to turn the ball a lot. And that's why Mohammad Shami is not into the team. And this is a squad for the first two test matches, and hopefully we can see him in the next three. But he is just not there for the first two test matches. And Avesh Khan and Mohammad Siraj are there. And I think they will make a pretty good attack unless England comes with their best ball and they actually surprise everyone, which they have capacity to do. But let's see, it is going to be an exciting one.
All right, and anything else Indian cricket related on your mind this week, Himanshu?
Ishan Kishan, uh, am I audible?
Yeah, what did you said you wanted to talk about Ishan Kishan?
Yeah, there has been a lot of drama going on around Ishan Kishan. Uh, from the South African tour, he there was a news that he went back home because of personal reasons. What had happened? You have seen him in the Indian team for quite a long now. Although he is not in the playing 11, but he is on the every tour. He was there even in the World Cup. But then because he was tired of getting benched in every match, and he's a young wicketkeeper who just wants to go out and play. So on South African tour, when he got to know that KL Rahul is going to keep the wickets, he just asked the team a break, that give me a mental break because I just want to go out and see the world, which is quite right. When you are just traveling with the team, not getting to play, you ask for it when you know that you are not required in a team on a long tour. And that's what he did. He said that he wants to spend some time with his family. Uh, he was seeing partying in Dubai right after that, and management dropped him from the team immediately from all the formats. He was the first contender for any wicket keeping spot in the Indian team in all three formats, and now he is nowhere to be seen. He was not picked for Afghanistan tour, and now he is not even in the England series. He asked for a mental break, but he has lost his spot in the team, and now there is a new wicketkeeper in contention, which is Dhruv Jurel for the England series, which is quite fantastic, and it has a lot to do with Virat and Rohit dramatically returning to T20 setup. Because these guys have not played any T20 match for 14 months, and all the players who have been filling for them in these 14 months will have no reason. They will be replaced for because T20 World Cup is right up there. So yeah, there has been a lot of drama going on this week if we look at it as a whole picture.
Oh well, Himanshu, great to hear from you as always. And we're going to be recording this Indian cricket show every Sunday at this time. So thanks very much for joining me once again, Himanshu. Have a great day. So from me,
Thank you, and you have a great day too.
thank you. So from me and Himanshu here on Global Cricket Radio, that was the India Cricket Show.